Hey everyone, welcome to another video review. This is the Transformers Age of the Primes Wreck and Doom Collection Carnivac versus Fisitron, or as most people are going to call him, Ironfist. You see him there in front of the box. Go ahead and put him off to the side real quick and take a look at the box, which has, honestly, a nice bit of artwork on it. You know, Carnivac right there, his beast mode, and Fisitron and his robot mode all squaring up against each other in Transformers Age of the Prime, and Carnivac with his little symbol, and Fisitron, special symbols for both of them. Wreckers and was Doom Patrol. I don't remember what they call it. Yeah. Then they, of course, you got the Wrecker Autobot symbol, Hasbro, and 18 steps for him and 15 steps for him. And up here you got the same picture again. It's Card Homie, and right there you got look, the same picture of that, then same picture, and the bottom is what's included, and some manufacturing details. And on the back, of course, you have product shots and crop warnings and whatnot, and authentic. And hey, look, also Survivor. The headmaster for Carnivac is Survivor. So there you go. And of course there's instructions, and yeah, each side is basically each side is one figure each. So there's that. So pretty straightforward, nothing too complicated. If you have, there's good chance you have at least a version of each of these molds already. So Carnivac, Fisitron. Yep, a new 2-pack collection of repaints into legacy figures or whatnot that kind of are sometimes maybe a bit obscure. So I believe Carnivac was a pretender initially. Getting close on him. You're getting close. Yeah, you got you got very brushed, lots of purple, some kind of very muted greenish, bluish greenish color right there. You got this kind of brownish color right here. The Decepticon symbol. You got his face right there. You got a bit of a smirk on it right there with some goggles. Almost like a little missile thing. Yeah, it's basically this is a repaint of Titans Returns Wolf Wire. Weird Wolf. Yeah, you got purple and more of the green, some goldish, brownish gold right there on the bottom. You got that whole thing going on. And also this time, no chance of the hinge cracking just from existing. So there's that, and yeah, close there on Fisitron. Yeah, he's based on the Siege Hound mold, which actually then was turned into the Detritus and then Earth Mode Hound, and yeah, then so this guy, and also that one version of Orion Pact. But yeah, you got the nice bit of head right there. You got to kind of round it off. You got silver face mask. You got some very like silvery blue eyes. Got the blue and gold throughout. It's got the gray as well. All that stuff, and yeah, you can see the mold is based on and everything. A little bit modified. He's also kind of on the short side, but yeah. These two against each other. Not bad figures, honestly. Not bad at all. That's interesting. Yeah, but not bad figures at all. Although, yeah, this one kind of this is a weird one because like it's a Titans Return mold, which is Titans Return. Like it's like almost 10 years old now, which is wild to think about that this mold is now first came out 10 years ago. Also, mind for some reason the hips are weird because they're on ball joints, but like that keep wanting to rotate inward, which is a little annoying. So it makes him always like he's standing funny. It's a little frustrating. But it being a old Titans Return figure, the opposability is actually pretty all right. Actually, this is one of the better opposable Titans Return figures. But yeah, you got the head in kind of ball joint because of the Titan Master. Although it has that thing where it's like there's certain positions, particularly of course straight on, which is like it wants to snap around. It doesn't quite sit right. And I opened it up even to look at it, and I couldn't figure out what was making it do that. But yeah, there's this position it doesn't really want to sit and always wants to snap to one side or the other. That's kind of interesting. Shoulders are also on these weird, like, long ball joints. You got this full rotation, and you got outward that far, and then you got this kind of this wiggle right here, kind of a pseudo butterfly joint thing going on. You do have a bicep swivel right there. You do have an elbow, which goes not quite 90 degrees. The wrists don't swivel or anything, but you can tilt them up if you want, although it kind of looks weird. There's a waist swivel right here, somewhat hindered by the backpack, but nothing too egregious. Hips could go forward that far, back that far because of the backpack thingy. Outward, you do have pretty much a full splits. You do have a knee swivel right there. The knees themselves going to go about 90 degrees, and of course down here at the feet, they're on also on ball joints. So you got tilts and side to side and forward and back and everything. And I guess you got a hinge here if you really need that. So decent posability in that front, and of course Fisitron, you do have ball jointed head, so you got left and right and up and down. Although, yeah, a little bit up and down. You got some degree of waggle as well. You do have rotation there. Outward, biceps, elbows, which go slightly above 90 degrees. You do have a wrist joint. You do have, of course, the waist swivel right there. You have a ball, the hips go forward that far, back that far, outward, that far, a little more than the full splits. And of course, thigh swivel right there. You got the knee joint, which is just about 90 degrees. And down here you have ankle tilt, and the toe can actually go up a bit as well if you want it to. So there you go. Not bad, and it doesn't help. It helps also. I generally like these molds already, so you know. Yeah, these are pretty nice little figures. So they do, of course, come with several accessories. Carnivac comes with this kind of short sword thing, which is kind of the greenish with a little purple on it, and of course that can just slide in the hand. Got to watch it because there's this little keyed bit, so you have to make sure to put in the hand properly so it actually goes in. And of course comes with a gun, which is actually modeled very close to what the gun that the original Carnivac had. I had to look up some pictures on this. I don't know why, but also these panels on the forearms keeps popping out of their hinges. The hinges keep popping out. I don't know why it keeps doing that, so that's a little bit annoying. Yeah, just hold his accessories like so. No big deal. The new gun here is also blast effect compatible, I think. Yeah, yep. There you go. There's that. And as for Fisitron, you do have several accessories there. You have his backpack, which is made of individual parts, so you can plug that on right there, and then plug that on right there. And then he's also got his rifle, which again is nice, kind of yellow rifle, which plugs on right, plugs in his hand if you want. And there you go. And again, blast effect compatibility is right there, like that. So you got that stuff. Yeah. So yeah, there's accessories. As for storage, on Carnivac, I guess you could just kind of, like with the sword, because of the pegs, you can kind of do the whole like, I'm thinking of almost kind of like holstered or scabbarded or whatever, kind of on the side like that. Do that sort of thing if you want. The gun can also kind of peg on wherever, if you like. That if you like. But yeah, that's pretty much it for storage. As for him, his gun is cool because it's, the storage for this is actually, the backpack, which you take it off right here. And there's actually a specific spot for it. You can see, like, there's a differences here. What you do here is just, you plug this in like this. That, and then you can just peg that on, and there you go. Now he's got it all stored away on his backpack, which is pretty cool that they did that. So yeah, that is the general little thing about the robo modes. They're pretty good. They're pretty solid figures overall, though. Again, yeah, your Carnivac has got some weird. Mine has got some weird things where the ball joints are not super cooperative for some reason, so it's got a little annoying. Basically several ball joints are a little uncooperative. But yeah, for some comparisons, Carnivac here. Yeah, Wolfwire. Yep, Wolfwire. And you can see it's pretty much the same mold. Interesting enough that they see the difference in the sword sizes, which means difference in tail size too. Yeah, different gun. They got rid of the weird giant Titan Master gun thing, and yeah. But yeah, largely other than that, they the molding for the figure itself is pretty much identical. But yeah, you can see also, yeah, the whole thing about the cracked hinges on Wolfwire. That's actually cracked really bad because there's a whole chunk of this that's probably going to fall out at some point. And the funny thing was, this didn't start happening until about the last year or so. So yeah, mine lasted quite a while before it actually gave. So that's kind of impressive, I feel. Yeah, that's a Wolfwire. And as for Fisitron here, just going to compare him real quick to Detritus. You can see, yeah, you get the same, kind of chest piece going on. But yeah, you see a lot of the same detailing here on the robot modes, except the head is different. And of course, the backpack you can see is quite different as well. So there you go. So robot modes for them they're pretty solid. They look good. For most people work well. I think Carnivac is the weaker of the two, just because it's an older mold, and I think mine just has a couple issues, so that kind of inflates it for me a little bit. But there you go. So transforming them, starting with Carnivac, just why not? Getting the guns out of the weapons out of the hands. Just put those off to the side for now. First, of course, you go ahead and unplug the Titan Master, and unfold him, and again, getting it close to the Titan Master, you can see some nice detail, some nice paint work on this. They're finally doing paint work on the Titan Masters again, right there. So you got that. That's transformed. And yeah, for the rest of it, what you do here is open up these forearm bits. You rotate the hands inside those. You close that back up, like so. You rotate here at the bicep, and you bring down the wolf paw like that. The same thing. Open that hinge up. Rotate the hand inside the forearm. Close that back up. Rotate at the bicep 180, and then bring down the wolf paw like that, and then just kind of bring the arms forward like so. Like that. Now down here at the legs, what you want to do is take the toes here and rotate those into the paws like that, and then rotate those around 180 like that. Then here you untab these front shin guards from the I guess shins, and then bring them up like that, like so. And then right here you can bring these down, and there's this tab right here. We're kind of going to this little notch right here, like that, and you just kind of bring those down. Like so. Like that. Then right here, what you want to do is take the wolf head and bring it forward, and this will tab in the front like that. Then you bring this panel up, and you untab this bit right here. You untab it, and this whole thing. There's a hinge. You can see there's a hinge forming right here, and this then extends backwards, and then these tabs right here go into these slots right here, like that. And you close this bit up right here. And yeah, you're just gonna adjust the legs as necessary. And yeah, he now does not want to stand. Adjust the legs as necessary. Then from right here, you take the sword, and this will plug in. It kind of plugs in like this, like that. And there you go. That's Carnivac in his wolf mode. Talk about more in their detail later. And then as for Fisitron, you can actually leave this on here, which is nice. So if you want, and bring that up, and then you unfold this bit right here. You bring that up and unfold that, and then you go ahead and untab the shoulders like so. They're actually much more solid than the Siege Hounds were. Yeah, you untab the shoulders and then bring the hood up over the top of the head, and then of course bring that in, close that up right there. And right here you make sure to straighten out the arms, and then bring these in. Bit of an angle too, so these pegs will kind of go in this little notch right there, like that. And then you go ahead and rotate the fists like the forearms like this, so this sit like that. And then of course down here, what you want to do is bring the leg out, so then you can untab that and straighten that out. Untab that and straighten that out, like so. And then you want to, of course, bring these out a bit like that, just for clearance's sake. You want to bring those out, and that's this hinge like that. And then, of course, rotate them both around, minding the clearance. You kind of want to bring this up a bit. So yeah, you probably go ahead and bring this. If you want a good clearance, you kind of have to bring that out of the way, so you can bring this up further, so you have a little bit more clearance. Yeah, bring this forward, and then bring this forward. Bring it forward like this, and then tab the legs together right here, like so. That, and then bring these in like so, and these will just tab into the front right here like so, like that. That's right, yeah, that you don't fold up the feet anymore, even though the hinge is still there. You don't fold them up. And then bring this forward, and this will tab in right there, like that. So you go ahead and bring this down like that. And these right here, there's the little slots. You see there's little slots in the forearms, which will go into little tabs on the underside right here. Like that, and like that. And of course, you go ahead and take this and peg this back on, and there you go. There's a Fisitron in his vehicle mode, which means you are completely done. Yeah, the transformations you saw were actually pretty straightforward for both of them. There wasn't really a whole lot of weirdness going on there. Although mine is, I just realized my Carnivac has a weird splotch right here. I'm not sure how that's supposed to be there, but there's some weird splotching on mine. I don't know what the heck that's about, but it looks like something weird happened with the paint. Yeah, you got a wolf and a Jeep looking thing. Which, yeah, that's pretty much what they're supposed to turn into. Yeah, Carnivac was that Pretender. I don't remember that Pretender. I think, yeah, it was a Pretender, if I recall correctly. Although, yeah, I'm not sure what the exact... was it a Pretender? Whatever. Yeah, but yeah, you got... Yeah, so Carnivac, you know, turns into a wolf. You know, pretty straightforward. He got his little stubby little tail. Yeah. A Survivor here again, you know, showing that off. Posability on Survivor is pretty straightforward. You know, the head's on a ball joint, the shoulders on ball joints. You know, so you got that, and then you got these hinges, which are also pinned. Well, actually, two of them. One of them isn't pinned, but yeah. So you can only just pretty much just sit down. Yeah, just so I can show off the features a little bit. I'll just comparison real quick between the Titan Masters. Yeah. Yeah, it's actually the same Titan Master, you know, from this side. It's just different paint. You see, and different, you know, different head, obviously. But yeah, so yeah, and of course with Carnivac here, you can go ahead and open this up, and right here you can then, you know, adjust your Titan Master guy, Survivor, and see him in here. Just kind of tabs in right there. Just tab in right there. You close that up, and now you know you got the Titan Master sitting in the cockpit. And yeah, of course, the gun here can also peg in right here, like the old toy did. So there you go. Not bad. But yeah. That. So also an interesting thing here is yeah, because Carnivac had just kind of the weird, just, you know, kind of cyber wolf thing, you know, just one, you know, eye. And here you can see the molding for the original eyes is still there. So like they didn't remold that at all, which is a little annoying. But posability wise, you know, you can see the head here can go left and right and go a little bit up and down. It's in twists and everything. It's like, I think it's a ball joint. It feels like a ball joint. The mouth can open and close. It got a nice bit of silver in there. Of course, and the rest of this is pretty much all the same. You know, you got this ball jointed, so there's that. This is twist and hinge, and this is ball jointed right here, and also can twist and hinge. This, you know, this is pretty much the same. So you know, you got that forward, back, and outward, and you got this joint now right here, and this joint right here, ball jointed. So you also twist right there, and then also this right here can twist and move and all that stuff. This can just do that a little bit, but yeah, it's kind of keyed a little bit, so. Not really a whole lot you can do, but yeah, pretty straightforward on the articulation, because a lot of it's pretty much the same as it is in the robot balls. Some of it's a little bit different, but yeah, some of it's the same. So there you go. It's not bad. As for, you know, Fisitron again, it's a nice little gray Jeep looking thing, or Humvee looking thing. You know, you got some nice bits of blue venting right here, and the blue backpack thing right here. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention you can remove this and I guess use it as like a forearm shield. You know, if there's a peg holes in there, you can use that as a forearm shield if you want. You can adjust that, so you know if you want to do that. But yeah, you know, it goes, you know, up here like so. This can actually rotate just like, yeah, because the original had this big honking, you know, firing missile gun thing, and so you know, this can still rotate. It's just on a peg, so if you want to do that, you can. And of course, this rolls pretty decently. It's also pretty interesting to me that they changed this up so the feet no longer fold in, because if you do, you can still fold them in, but then you have a big old gap right there where the door should be. So yeah, not a bad looking Jeep thing, but you know, this is like the, you know, third time I've owned this mold. So hey, and also you got a nice, very nice looking Wreckers Autobot symbol right there, although it's kind of crooked on mine, which is interesting. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be crooked or not, but it's definitely crooked. So there's that. Yeah, that's the two of them as a whole. You know, not bad looking, pretty straightforward. They're pretty nice. I was mostly in this for Fisitron, just because I thought this was a pretty neat way to do things. Carnivac was kind of the, yeah, I guess, sure, why not. But speaking of, I guess, yeah, for comparison stuff, yeah, here's Wolfire, Weird Wolf. Again, you can see it's pretty much the same mold, just again, longer tail, much longer tail. And again, you can see how prominent those cracked hinges are right here. Yeah, it actually started separating because, yeah, the way it works a little bit. But yeah, not bad looking. Not a bad looking new version of the mold. And as for Fisitron, Ironfist, here's a detritus. But you can see pretty big difference here. You know, got rid of the open thing right there, and yeah, this makes a huge difference. So yeah, there you go on that. So, as a whole, not a bad set. Kind of kind of weird. Basically, it's a set of the oddballs from the late G1 / early, late G1, the late 80s, early 90s. I believe he didn't come out till really late, like Euro G1 initially. So like, kind of weird obscure oddballs that only a handful of people actually care about. But there are people who definitely care about them. Yeah, not bad set. It's $50. Basically the price of 2 deluxes. Although again, one of the deluxes used to one day, a Wolfire, it cost like $17 or something like that in the day. But that was almost a decade ago, so things have changed. But yeah, not bad. I think overall. Again, the nice thing about Carnivac, those hinges won't be cracking anytime soon because there's no rubbery plastic on him. It's just a decent, it's one of those things that, it makes sense to reuse this particular mold considering wolves. Same thing, just kind of makes sense to use that particular mold. So, not bad. Not bad at all. And also, they did put in the effort, at least for some new accessorizing game with Fisitron, Ironfist here. They actually did some nice remolding and the nice new accessories and they did make a new gun for him. But yeah. And the sword is actually different just because, for him, it's also different just because it's a totally different kind of sword. So, not bad. But yeah, if it's one of those things, if you don't care about these characters, you don't like how they look or whatever, you don't really feel the need to get more of the same molds if you already have them, they're easy to pass. But you're also if you do buy them, they're definitely a good, solid set of toys for what you're paying. So there you go. That's it for this review. I hope you found it informative and entertaining. Hope you like, comment, subscribe. Check out my social media. It's down in the description and at the end of the video. Check out my Coffee and Patreon. And I'll see you next time with another video review.